Alright, on this class we'll do two things. I'll proceed with first of all, I've just added, I was checking the images, and this lateral image was on perspective view. So I opened a Batman model and rendered some images we could use. So in that way I make sure everything matches perfectly in order to sculpt with more ease. This arm matches with this arm, and it also matches with this arm. On the previous classes we could notice that wasn't working properly, so I've just added a new image. You'll have that image available in Pinterest in the course folder, so you can have access to the images. In fact, we'll do something over here. We'll add another image, the image of the back, and we'll adjust it a bit in order to use it as a reference. That render is also available on Pinterest. So let's head to the draw panel, and I'll add over here in front back. Over here we've got this image, this one here. Now I'll select map 2, which is the rear. Hit import, and let's select this image. We could add the image which has got the cape, but also I've got the mesh of the body with no cape. So I'd say in this case, this view is more useful for us. Alright, let's scale it a bit in order to make it correspond to what we've made so far. Hold on a second. Excuse me. This is left right. This is front back. Let's modify the offset in order to move it to the left. As we make progress, we'll check if it's tilted or not, but I try to set the best location possible. For the time being, because later on we'll set the precise forearm location, so the forearm will match the front view, and then I'd move the view showing the back. So now we are getting the idea of what we need. I'd like to, in fact, on Pinterest, you'll have available that view. And also this image of Batman with a cape. Then we can proceed to give some shape to our character. We'll start sculpting. What I'll try to do is to get as close as possible to these shapes. What I'll do is to use a standard, since I want to sketch some shapes quickly. We could hit Ctrl D to add a subdivision and start mimicking the shapes. Notice I actually follow these lines and use the projections on the images. Again, Shift, Spacebar, and I'll decrease the intensity in order to avoid affecting the mesh too much. You have to always be careful with the intensity you work with. This is not about being in a hurry. You may say I work quite fast, but that's due to the time we have for the class, and I don't want it to be too long. But we have to be patient. We simply are applying some clicks and the shapes will eventually show up. Watch over here. This is what I wanted to match. This area with this one over here. In case it's not matching, we simply hit to draw. In this case, I'll select the corresponding image for the lateral view and take it down until it matches perfectly. Let's take both references to the middle, and I'll set the fill mode to 3 for making the mesh transparent. What I want to check is if the front view matches the lateral view. I think I'll move the lateral downwards. I'll lower this left. Horizontal vertical offset, decrease it a little. That should do. I want to check the arm. I think it's a bit upper. I like this edge to match on both images. I think they match perfectly now. So, up here on the arm, they should match. And as you can notice, they do match. The size works way better now. Okay, then let's proceed with the modeling. On this stage, I'll show just the initial part, since, as we said, we are focusing on how I'll try to mimic the shapes around this area, following the line. Will guide me to know what's the arm size. This provides a basic reference. Afterwards, what I'll apply is Oscar's technique about anatomy, but over here I can see. Notice with the previous reference, lots of things didn't match. Due to the perspective effect, this image hasn't got this perspective. So notice, in fact, we can adjust the mesh quite easily. Okay, definitely, we have to adjust part of the mesh we've previously modified, but we can fix it quickly. Alright, let's select the standard and define a bit the shapes. Notice I trace the line based on this line over here. I'm following the red projection. Basically, I'm copying the shape. Over here on the triceps, notice also it shows me how it corresponds to the image over here. I simply generate the general shape. I won't detail them much, but now we are getting something closer to what I wanted to do. And we start applying some of the knowledge we've acquired from the 3 anatomy courses with Oscar. The idea is to keep watching those courses and have them as reference for all the models we are creating. That knowledge also applies for beasts, cartoon characters, pretty much everything. Over here, I'm simply getting some shapes, really quickly. Over here, we've got the trapezius. Some of the shapes I'll sculpt later on, having as a base the job that Oscar has made. At this point, the character is starting to take shape. Easily, I'm adjusting a bit. Notice I'm applying the knowledge about anatomy, but I'm also having that Batman images as reference. In order to locate the muscles properly, according to the reference. Alright, let's take a pause. I don't want this video to be too long. On the next class, I will continue with these adjustments and definition of the mesh. And the job to take this closer to the reference. See you on the next class.